Hi guys, I'm here with lesson 2 today. Now, I'm sure you did lesson 1, and I'm thinking you thought that was pretty easy, because it really was. Well, easy again today. It's not hard at all. These shapes and learning about sides and the angles, which we know are the attributes, not hard. So, we're going to talk about something today, and it's a polygon. Now, don't let that word confuse you. It's really, really simple again. Say polygon. A polygon is just a shape that has 3 or more sides. Okay, and they're all closed. And however many sides it has the same amount of angles. Okay, so I'm going to show you right now. I drew some shapes on a marker board. These should pretty much look familiar. There might be one on here that you might be a little confused about. But we have here, and we're going to talk about the different prefixes that go with each of these today too. So we have some shapes here, and in lesson 1, you had marked the sides and the angles. Well, I just told you a polygon is a 3 or more sided figure, okay, that has the same amount of angles as it does sides. So all of these would be polygons. If I go through with my blue again today, and remember my blue was for my sides, okay, and I'm going to mark these different shapes, and I'm going to mark their sides, and we're also going to look at their angles so that you can see that these polygons do have the same number of sides and angles, okay? So my first shape right here, we know the shape. This is a triangle. Well, how many sides does a triangle have? Let's mark it. If you have a piece of paper, you can do this, or you can just count with me as I go. So I have 1, 2, 3. 3 sides on the triangle. Now, if I mark the angles, remember that's where your 2 sides come together. They come to this point, and when I look at it, it looks like its mouth is open. Okay, so I'm going to mark my angles now. 1, 2, 3. So this is a polygon. It has 3 sides and it has 3 angles. And this polygon is called a triangle. You got it. See, easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Then I'm going to come over here. Now, this is the shape where you might be like, I don't know what that shape is, Mrs. Bale. Well, let's take a peek at it, okay? Let's count how many sides this one has. So I'm going to label the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 sides. This one's called a pentagon. Pentagon, okay? So this has 5 sides. Let's count how many angles it has. If it has 5 angles, then it's a polygon. 1, oh, my marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, it's a polygon. It has the same number of sides as it does angles. And this one is called a pentagon. So this polygon is a pentagon. Lots of big words today, huh? Then I have this little guy over here. Now this one, I tried my best, but he's a square. Now what makes a square a square? Well, it has to have 4 equal sides. So when you make a square, you want to measure and make sure that all of the sides are the same size. That's what makes him different than a rectangle. Remember a rectangle, we talked about this in the last lesson, has a long side here, and 2 shorter sides. But a square, what makes a square a square? Has to be all the same size sides, okay? Same size sides. So if I count up the square and see how many sides he has, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 sides on a square. And if he's a polygon, he's going to have 4 angles. And remember, angles are where the 2 sides come together. So 1, 2, 3, 4. A square is a polygon. Then I hop over here and I see my rectangle, and I'm going to go ahead and mark my sides on my rectangle. And remember, he's different than a square. We just talked about that. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are my 4 sides to my rectangle. I'll mark the angles. Remember, angles are where your 2 sides come together. In this case, it makes an L. So that's a 90-degree angle or a right angle. We'll talk about those. So here's an angle, 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 angle. Okay, so 4 angles. So this guy has 4 sides and 4 angles, which means he is a polygon. So that's the polygon, okay? There's more polygons than just these, but I just drew a few to show you. And then we're going to talk about the prefixes that go with these, okay? And some of these words will sound familiar to you. A prefix, remember, is a part that we put at the beginning of a word to change the word, okay? So like if I said bicycle, bi is the prefix that comes at the beginning of bicycle, okay? Now when you ride a bicycle, which I'm sure a lot of you have been, I've been riding my bike, okay? When you ride a bicycle, how many wheels does it have? 2. So bi means 2. Now, what if you were little? Do you remember being really, really little and riding a tricycle? Tri is your prefix. Well, how many wheels did your tricycle have? 3, right? So when I look at a triangle, like this, triangle, tri means 3, which means that there are 3 sides on the triangle. So I'm gonna mark my triangle sides. So the prefix tri means 3, try, okay? Now, how many of you like to ride four-wheelers? How many? Lots of you, right? I ride the four-wheeler too. Well, a four-wheeler is also known as a quad. How many wheels or tires do you have on your four-wheeler? 4, right? So when we look at the prefix quad, quad means 4. So if I mark my rectangle here, it has 4 sides because the prefix quad means 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sides on a quad. Okay, think of a four-wheeler. So tricycle for 3, four-wheeler for 4. Now we have a new one, and this one we talked about just a little bit ago is a pentagon. Penta means 5. Okay, penta means 5. That's your prefix, 5. So if I mark this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sides on a pentagon. Down here, this should look familiar, okay? We talked about hexagons when we were talking about our bees. Remember when we looked at the cells? They were all hexagonal shapes, okay? So we have hex is going to be my prefix for 6, okay? But I want you to listen. Hex, 6. They both have the letter X. That's your hint. Whenever you look at a figure and it has 6 sides, you're going to go, oh, a hexagon has 6 sides because they both have the letter X. So when I look at this shape over here, I'm going to count the sides, and it should have 6 because it's a hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A hexagon has 6 sides. So these are your prefixes that I want you focusing on to help you with today's lesson, okay? So when you take a peek at today's lesson, which I'll get out, and we'll kind of look at it together to make sure that you're okay and ready to go. I see that you will be kind of labeling those sides again, okay? And trying to figure out which shape is which. Now here's what I'm going to suggest you do right away. In the word bank up above, you have 4 different words, 4 different shapes really. So we have a hexagon, a quadrilateral, triangle, and pentagon. Those are all the ones we just talked about. So what I would do if I were you is I would write how many sides does a hexagon have? And I would put that number right above there. Quadrilateral, quad is your prefix. Think about a four-wheeler. How many tires? How many sides? Put that number up above. Then you have a triangle. You could think of a triangle or you can think of a tricycle. How many wheels, okay? Put that number up above. Pentagon, penta. Penta means 5. Put that on top of there. Then all you're going to do is I would use that one crayon that you like to label your sides with, or if you want, you can just use your pencil. But go through. Count your sides for each of these figures. And then you're going to tell me, is that shape a hexagon, a quadrilateral, a triangle, or a pentagon? And you write it on the line. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Then when you look at the other side, okay, you're going to finish these triangles, it looks like. So it says for A, triangle, okay. Now this one is going to be a hexagon, quadrilateral, pentagon. Same shapes that were on this side. So you know how many sides each of these have because you've already labeled it right on top of here. Okay, not hard. You can do this. When you do this, you want to make straight lines. You might want a ruler. You might want to use like the side of a book if you have something right there, something to help you make a straight line, okay? So it says for each example, blank lines was added. Okay, so you have to finish. You have to make a triangle. Well, how many lines did you have to make for each one? That's it. Pretty easy. Okay, so you're just going to complete this by already labeling these over here and practicing this side. This side should be pretty easy. When it comes time to draw a hexagon or a quadrilateral or a pentagon, flip back over here. What kind of shape did you see? Can this help you when you go to draw the shapes right here? It can, okay? All right, good luck. I know you can do it, and I'll talk to you in just a little bit about lesson 3.